My friend Ann Druyan, the wife of the late Carl Sagan, has another theory, and that is the orphan analogy. Because we still don't have complete, definitive answers to all of our questions regarding the origins of life on Earth, we are, in a sense, orphans who don't know exactly where we came from. And just as orphans often feel subconscious, misplaced guilt over the idea that they must have somehow done something wrong to be abandoned, we create fabricated accounts of our own supposed inadequacies, most notably the expulsion from Eden. I think it's time we drop the guilt, though. We're not wicked, evil children. We didn't all go to Yale. By the way, here's where one of you should say, Yale's our rival. Thank you, core Family Guy fans, for getting that reference. Religion has had a good run. The stories, though, are starting to feel repetitive, and they never make it clear which members of the family can understand Jesus. As a species, though, maybe we even needed religion at one time, back when we thought farts were magic. But now maybe it's time to realize that we simply don't require an all-powerful God to find beauty in the cosmos or to create peace and justice here on our own planet. The Hubble and Kepler telescopes have revealed far more wondrous visions of reality than anything that the Bible could begin to describe. Decency, reason, and humanism at its best have elevated our species to lofty altitudes of self-discovery and awareness far higher than those to which dogma could ever propel us. Just think of how far we've come in the growth of our species. Think of the art and the music that we've created. Think of the colossal advances in transportation and communications. Just imagine telling the founding fathers that their young republic would someday have an ambitious, far-reaching space program for a short while. It seems at times that we can do anything. We can produce clean, renewable energy to power the planet. We're not doing it, but we can, and that ought to count for something. We made John Travolta a star. And then we took it back again. And then we made him a star again, and then we took it back again. We created a life-changing worldwide network of computer information sharing so we could more conveniently and swiftly distribute porn. Even just 100 years ago, if you wanted to see a lady get fucked by a donkey, you either had to keep a place in Mexico, or you had to own a donkey and then invest years systematically dismantling your daughter's self-esteem. I think I just got an aw shit from that corner of the room. This was worth a trip. 2011 is a strange time to be a humanist, but it's also an important time to be a humanist. America, as a culture, is allowing itself to descend back into the dark realms of superstition that so many visionary men and women of science have devoted their lives to pull us away from. So the decision is now ours. As Woody Allen put it, given the choice between air conditioning and the Pope, I'll take air conditioning. Or in other words, instead of praying for rain, I say we invent a weather machine. Get on it, Harvard. Thank you.
Does anybody have a defibrillator? Okay. So we're gonna do some Q&A, right? And we're gonna, yes, okay. We're gonna remind you that a question is, in the words of some of you who've said this before, a short interrogative statement that ends in a question mark. Yes, okay. So, John, you ready? All right. Come on up. We don't have a ton of time for Q&A, but I am very curious to see what will emerge from the time that we have. So, we have a couple student questions first.
And anybody else can come up and ask a question
I think you scared the crap out of them.
Yeah, sorry, gang.
Let me just see what I wrote down here. Hi, Seth. Thank you so much for coming to speak tonight. My name is Lester, and I was surprised by your reaction to the South Park Muhammad controversy last year. Yeah, you seemed ambivalent about whether the image of Muhammad should have been censored on TV. Given that you have animated many religious figures, would you be comfortable depicting an image of Muhammad in Family Guy?
First of all, thank you for speaking from the heart.
Welcome.
That's a hard one to give a blanket response to. The joke would have to be, I mean, look, we consider ourselves equal opportunity offenders. So yeah, I mean, I would be comfortable with that. As with whether it's Islam or Judaism or Christianity, the joke does have to be funny. You can't just get up there and say, hey, you guys suck. There has to be some sort of satirical element. There has to be some sort of commentary. Otherwise, you're just kind of lazy. But I mean, that was an interesting situation because there were death threats on those guys, and you have to. I mean, there was an instance a while back where I believe there was a show called Millennium on Fox, and I remember hearing from the legal department at Fox that they had advised the writers of that show not to do a joke about the Scientologists because the retribution would just not be worth it. With a show like Family Guy or a show like South Park or a show like The Simpsons, I think you kind of have to, suck it up and acknowledge the fact that you are there to satirize religion in all forms. You're there to satirize all aspects of our culture. Religion cannot be exempt. And yeah, I think we would. I'd probably wear a suit of armor for a month walking down the street, but yeah, I think if the joke is funny enough, yeah. Oh, come on.
Good evening, Seth. My name's Charlotte, and I'm a freshman at the college. And
Well, how the devil are you?
Oh yeah, sorry, 30
Wait,
seconds.
don't say
to
anymore.
Harvard.
Brought up in Hounslow, mother Welsh.
I'm not English. I'm Scottish. Damn it, get it
Oh,
right.
boy, well, that's...
If you're gonna mock me, at least do it for the right country.
Boy, is my face red, huh?
Exactly. Yeah, so I'm an ally with the QSA here, so I'd like to ask a question about your activities for gay rights. And you've said in the past that your interest in gay rights was sparked when a family member brought up the question of whether homosexuality can be cured. So I was wondering, given that for many members in the gay community, the opinion and support of their family and friends is vitally important, as is totally understandable, what do your family think of your activities as an ally, and have their beliefs and your interactions with them changed as a result of that?
Well, not especially. I mean, the members of my family who are less progressive remain less progressive, and the ones who are, have always been progressive remain progressive. That was certainly a catalyst. That was kind of a significant bit of awareness on my part that somebody in my own family was capable of being that myopic. And you always sort of, for me, I always sort of thought that was the kind of thing that happened in the deep South, but maybe nowhere else. And sure enough, here it was in my own family, and it was disheartening and disturbing, but it was in a lot of ways the most significant part of a thought process that had been going on for a long time. I've always been somebody who is, I have no patience for bigotry of any kind, and I do feel like, aside from the fact that it's immoral, when I look at things like Prop 8 in California, the liberal state of California, and Prop 8, which got passed a while back, that not only were its supporters unethical, but they were engaging in what is ultimately going to be a futile endeavor. Every civil rights battle, I feel like historically is eventually won. And if you oppose, if you favor something like Prop 8, 50 years from now, you're going to be the one who goes, oh yeah, well yeah, back then, yeah, I was kind of on that side, yeah. And you're going to look pretty silly. And it's amazing that we can never see those things happening right under our noses. It always takes time. And I kind of feel like, well, let's learn from history. Let's have this one be the one that we go, okay, all right, you know what, this is not going to be like, black people in the 40s and 50s. Let's see it. Let's see the bigotry going on as it's happening and do something about it now instead of waiting 50 years from now and going, oh, well, it took time. But as far as, my own family is concerned, it's, old Republicans are hard to break. Because there was a time economically when it made sense to be a Republican. In the 50s, it made sense to be a Republican. It made sense to be conservative, at least economically. And they just have a hard time breaking out of it. So I wish I could say that my own activities had changed that, but I don't see that yet.
Well, thank you very much.
Hi, thanks for coming. It's awesome. Anyway, I'm Chelsea. I'm a senior here. So in your talk, you talked a lot about how religion has kept people back, kept humanity back. But I'm wondering, even if just based on the numbers, how much atheists can accomplish without cooperating with the religious. So I was hoping to ask you what role, if any, you think interaction and cooperation and maybe even respect between atheist and religious people might be important.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a pragmatic question. It's a good question. Carl Sagan was a great one for that philosophy. It's like religion is not going anywhere. It's here to stay for a while. So we do need to work with these people, and that's I find surprising amounts of common ground with religious friends of mine. I'm able, people who are very, and when I say religious, I mean very religious. People who are very religious and very comfortable in their religiosity. Every time I say that word, I feel like I sound like Don King, but that is a word, right? Religiosity.
It's a word.
And they're okay with open discussion because they're comfortable. And I think though there are a lot of those people out there, and one of the areas that Sagan recommended that we ally ourselves with them is environmentalism. We all have an interest in preserving the planet. For us, it's for practical reasons. For the religious, you could make the argument, well, this is God's earth, and you want to see it preserved as much as we do. We both have the same goal. We have different motivations. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, at least right now. I don't know, we allied ourselves with the Russians in World War II, and then we kind of went at it afterwards. Let's do that.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah.